Welcome to the kickoff episodes of the Top 1% Recruiter. I am Alex Rojas, your talent hiring and career advisor. So you decided to become a recruiter. This is the profession and the career track that you chose. Whether you did this voluntarily or maybe accidentally fell into it, or maybe you're thinking about getting into recruiting, the fact of the matter that if you're making somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 per year, and depending on the years of experience you may have hit a wall. Or for those seasoned recruiters that are flatlining and just making over $100,000, you may have plateaued. And the reason why is that you might be missing that top 1% mindset, motivation, and the mastery of the skill. I'm going to show you just how the top 1% wealthy do it and how it translates into recruiting. Typically, when we think of the top 1%, we think of high income earners, the people that are making the money. Did you know that in the US, there's over 185 million people participating in the US labor workforce? That means in order to be considered the top 1%, you would have to earn at least $597,000 per year. Now, that's going to vary state to state. For example, you could live in the state of Alabama and earn $432,000 per year and be a top 1%er. Comparable that if you go to Connecticut, you're going to have to earn $897,000 to win that prize. Now, data shows us that the top 1%, that their average net worth is somewhere over $10 million. That is 85 times more than the average median salary in the US of $45,000 per year. Making $45,000 per year means that you would have to at least 12x your output just to get to that status. The key here is to determine what level you're at today. Where's your salary? Where's your compensation? Where's your revenue? And how do you get to that top 1% level status? So how does this translate into becoming a top 1% recruiter? Typically, in our business, a seasoned recruiter, just to even have a shot at earning that income potential, they have to have at least 15 years of professional experience. In our industry, a recruiter, just to be considered a high income earner, is probably going to be making somewhere between $125,000 to $150,000 per year. Now, that's going to vary depending on what kind of role you work in as a recruiter, what kind of career track that you're on. And there's a few different options that recruiters go down the path of. You can be a staffing agency recruiter, consultant contractor, corporate America recruiter, or a business owner and entrepreneur. So it will vary depending on that. But if you're motivated by success, making that money, and maximizing your output, then $250,000 per year has to be that baseline. Now, comparable to other high income earning professionals in other industries, you can look that there are physicians, there are attorneys, there are technologists, sales executives that make that caliber of money. So it really kind of depends. In talent acquisition, there are recruiters making $500,000, $750,000, $1 million per year. It is possible, but it requires a mindset shift and a dedication into understanding a little bit more about that top 1% profile. Top 1% earners expand beyond their portfolio from just 401k. They invest in stock, they go to real estate, they go into business ventures. Now, the same could be said about top 1% recruiters. They expand their portfolio also beyond 401k, but we invest in our talent, our skills, and our craft. Now, we can look at some examples here of how you close that gap of experience so that you can earn that income potential. Kobe Bryant was somebody who came young out of high school and was playing at a competitive level with seasoned veterans, but was able to focus, number one, had the talent, number two, had the skills and the development and the training to close that gap significantly. But ultimately, it was the craft. Honing in on his craft made him undeniably one of the greatest basketball players on the planet. Now, you can look at young men and women that decide to enlist into the Army, and they go into boot camp, and within 1 year, they're out there and they're battlefield tested and ready to defend our country. You can look at the same thing with entertainers, singers, actors, and actresses that eventually close that gap because they hone in on their craft and their skill, and they're receiving Emmy or Academy Award nominations. The reality is that you are a product of your success based on how you got your start in recruiting. The origins and the genesis of you as a recruiter, the foundation that was built, all depended on those first few years of you as a recruiter. And the training and the development and the mentorship that you got around could either make or break you. And where you are today is either at a place where you're stuck under the $100,000 range or you've just plateaued. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting that focus and that attention of that top 1% mentality and that mindset. So let's take a look at a couple of similarities between a top 1% earner and a top 1% recruiter. Now, a top 1% earner, they're going to be focused on creating high net worth, maybe even potentially becoming ultra wealthy. Now, they do this by taking risks in business, but they also look for opportunities in partnerships, and they limit their tax implications as well. Now, a top 1% recruiter, they're going to be focused on becoming top performers. This means that they're very clear and concise about their career goals and objectives. But more importantly, they're looking to increase their income streams. Now, another example is that top 1% earners, they're going to limit their liabilities and they're going to grow their assets. And they're going to do this by multiplying and diversifying their financial portfolios. Now, they surround themselves around like-minded individuals in order to do that. Now, top 1% recruiters, they're going to have to get a little bit more creative in this department. So they're going to be looking for side hustle opportunities, side projects, consulting gigs, anything that's going to create additional income streams within their portfolio. Now, ultimately, between these two, there's a lot of similarities. And the common one is that they both have a growth mindset and they have a passion for mastering their skill. This means that you have to embrace everything around you, the technology, the tools, but more importantly, the standards of best practices have to be elevated. As a recruiter, your reputation matters. That's what the spirit of the top 1% community is all about. This kickoff episode is about providing you the knowledge, foundation, and the excellence within talent acquisition. We're going to dig deep into your skill sets and level up your subject matter expertise. We're going to provide you the top 1% best practices in the industry so you can apply them immediately. I hope that you join me on this journey. We're going to have some amazing conversations with business leaders, hiring managers, executives, entrepreneurs, corporate recruiters, and agency recruiters as well. We're going to showcase technology and tools out there that is literally changing and transforming the way that we're doing business as recruiters. If you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, consider subscribing to this channel and be part of a community that strives for top 1% excellence and leadership. We have a saying around here, top 1% recruiters, we always level up.